Yes, this song is called Be the Change, inspired by the words of Mahatma Gandhi, who lived for peace, not violence, and told us to be the change we wish to see in the world.
Oh my, I'll tell you what, you know, I thought those monkeys were going crazy before, Ramon, but I'll tell you what, this planet here is really starting to get on the ball. I mean, I am, you know, on a daily basis, I'm seeing more and more and new people, you know, jumping on the proverbial bandwagon and really taking an interest in what's going on in the world, an interest what's going on in their inside them. I mean, their own personal lives, looking at their own integrity. That's something that's really has started to come to the forefront. You know, I mean, I know all you listeners out here who've listened to the show for a while know that I work in kind of a production environment, and it's a big shop. We got about 100 people in production, and you know, I've been on almost a daily basis now. I'm getting into conversations with guys there that I never dreamt of having, you know, metaphysical or spiritual or conspiracy or, you know, those types of conversations that people are showing an interest in what's going on within them and without them. So, God, you know, I'm just so optimistic about what's happening on the planet right now, and just me personally, the growth that I've had personally in the last, this year has been tremendous, absolutely tremendous for me personally, as far as where I've grown and how I've grown, and the new sensations and experiences I'm having. I mean, wow, what a year. So, you're listening to Tom and Ramon on the 100th Monkey Radio. It's we're recording this on August 5th, 2013, and I don't know. It's beautiful here, Ramon. I guess it's raining in Japan now.
Yeah, it's pouring out here, so the cat's not happy.
Poor cat.
Yeah, but you know, I recently, a really good friend of mine, she just had a baby, so congratulations. But you know, it's amazing when a woman has a baby, but it's even more amazing when it's a spiritual experience. And it's a long story, so I'm gonna make it really short, like, you know, maybe 2 minutes. But the way she described it was that, you know, during the whole birthing thing, she was completely relaxed, and it sounded like she had a heart chakra opening. And, you know, she doesn't listen to these kind of shows, and she's really not into this, but she'll go like to yoga class and stuff like that. But the way she described it, she was like, you know, she says birthing doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be the way it's usually described. And she was saying that she was like pouring so much love and talking to the baby, like, okay, here, I'm gonna give you a push now. So, you know, trying to guide the baby through. And she was, during the whole birthing thing, she was also chanting. And I asked her, like, what were you chanting? And she was just, you know, she said, whatever felt right.
That's some amazing stuff. What are they, spontaneous chanting or speaking in tongues, or you know, there's a lot of different words for that. But there's some real energetic power behind those instances when that happens.
She said the feminine energy was overwhelming. Like, she's never experienced so much feminine energy. On that note, like, just she was saying there was like 6 women in the room there, some friends and some staff, and it was just, they were all the right women to be there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Speaking of women, we have had quite a few women on the show here recently.
Yeah, right.
It's been like, let's say in 2012, I'd have to take a look at our archives to verify this, but in 2012, I would say probably, 2/3 of our guests were men. Wouldn't you say, Ramon?
Yeah, even in the 2011, 2010, the majority were always men, and I kind of almost felt like forced myself to find women so it wouldn't be such a masculine thing.
Yeah.
More balanced. But now it's like mostly women. It's just it's not even on purpose.
The table's completely flipped on this because now it's like we're having 2/3 women at least. I think what have we had in the last month? We've had nothing but women, right? Have we had any men on in the last month?
The special we did with
that's right, Garnet,
but that's it. I think the last 6 to 7 weeks it's been all women.
Wow. Well, we're going to continue that trend tonight, and we have with us a very special person who I happen to have the honor of meeting at ECETI this year. I went to the conference in July, and I did do a video interview with her, but for some reason, and I went over all my recording gear and everything. I do that every time I do an interview. I go through everything. I'm very meticulous about making sure everything is set right and working right. For some reason, we did about a 30-minute, maybe a little bit longer interview, and I got absolutely no audio that came through it. And I was when I uploaded it all to my computer and started doing all the editing, I was so disappointed because it was such a wonderful conversation. And during that conversation, I had an experience that was a new one for me. I mean, I've seen auras. I can see the auras when I'll shift my vision, and I can see the light misty. Normally, it's a white or grayish. Just the general, the being able to see that there's something there type of vision on the auras. I don't normally get any colors. Once in a while, I'll get some of the blues in there if somebody's got a really strong blue aura, but it's been pretty rare that I've been able to see colors. While I was interviewing this young lady, both of her arms. There was an amazing aura of a golden light aura, and this aura was so vivid and so bright. There was absolutely no mistaking it, and I was shocked. And I actually mentioned it in the interview while I was talking with her, and I was like, "Wow, I see gold aura. This is like new." So just that in itself, I mean, was quite an experience for me. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into chatting with her. We have Victoria Liljenquist. I hope I pronounced that right. I probably slaughtered it like that.
Probably, yeah, as always.
Liljenquist, I'll say it like that. At the age of 5, Victoria's journey began with angels as one appeared to her. At that time, she realized her gift of intuition, visions, and prophetic messages. Victoria's accuracy has proven to be extremely accurate as she receives information from the angelic realms and benevolent brotherhood of space. Her dedication to serve as an ambassador of the stars and to assist in uniting humanity again with their star families has been instrumental in seeing beyond this reality. Victoria's healing practice, music and singing, plays a major role in activating personal cellular memory for healing empowerment, and has been transforming for those who experience Victoria's lectures and personal sessions. Her website is victoriaslight.com. And Victoria, I would like to give you a warm 100th Monkey welcome to our show.
Oh, hello, Tom and Ramon. It's so great to be with you tonight.
Oh, wow. So, I don't know where to begin with you except for at the beginning. I mean, I know you don't have a whole ton of audio out there for people, and I would love to remedy that with putting out your story for people to really get to know you. You said at 5 years old, you had an angel appear to you. Would you care to share with that with us?
Yes, it was a very beautiful fall day in 1960, and it was interesting because I was sitting in my bedroom by my crystals having this little conversation with myself, I guess, to begin with, and I was thinking about how humans are totally oblivious to the other life forms. Like we just, go through our lives and we're just so preoccupied and we don't really stop and think about the big picture and say, wow, I'm in this body, but I'm so much bigger than this reality. I was having this conversation with myself.
That's pretty amazing.
So I was an extremely deep child.
That's pretty amazing at 5 years old.
Yeah, that's really amazing.
So at that moment in time, then I had this visitation, and this person came to me, and they were covered in light, and at the moment I couldn't tell if it was male or female per se, but they did say to me, Victoria, at the age of 40, you will go among the people to teach love and teach forgiveness and teach oneness, and that you are here to initiate something very special for humanity. Well, I went in the other room and asked my father to tell me what the word initiate meant, because I wasn't sure what that meant. But my parents were so amazing. They really allowed me to be who I was, and so they were lovely about everything that I ever shared, whether it was a visitation or a vision, but that really was a strong experience to me. But my father had also been talking about his visitation that he had in 1947. And so, of course, I think he was very honoring of me having my visitation, which I found out years later the person that came to him in 1947 was really the being that came to me in 1960, and then came to me numerous times after that. So that's how it all began.
So
that's what. Sorry, Tom. I was gonna say that's why they were so supportive. Because I think during that era it was so rare, because from a lot of guests I always hear the opposite. I couldn't talk about this, not even to my parents, and they would tell me keep quiet. So that's amazing.
Exactly.
That you have that support.
Well, my father, he actually used to, back in the 1950s, he worked as a Secret Service person up in Washington State, and then he decided to leave that profession, and that's when he was coming through the Reno Desert, and he came upon this man standing by the road in biblical clothing, and he stopped and he picked him up, and this man proceeded to tell my father all about the universe and all about my father's life. And he also told him about me, that I wasn't born for years, later. So then my father said to him, well, that's really interesting that you talk about me having a child, because I don't think I can have children, and I'm a bachelor, and on and on. And so then the man reached over and he touched him and he blessed him. And then he got out of the car and he dematerialized in front of his eyes.
Wow.
And so my father...
You want confirmation, huh?
That was in 1947, and I was born in 55. So my father told that story over and over and over again all my life. He always made sure I was sitting in the room. And so, you know, when I had my experience, I think he understood. And then when he was on his deathbed, he called me to him, and he said, do you remember the story? And I said, yes, and of course I do. And he said, well, I never told you this, but he told me about you. And that's why I've been, you know, my father was quite protective of me, and I'm sure that I've been watched over the years and everything, followed and, you know, in the years gone by. But so that was very special. And then in the year, let's see, 1991, I was walking through the forest, and I was having this conversation, as I always do. You know, I talk to all the intelligence that I hear communicating through my clairaudience and through my right ear specifically. And I said, you know, I've never asked you your name because I just honor everyone, and I just think that we're all just divine, and we don't really need to have names. But I heard in my ear say, I am Ezekiel. I am Ezekiel from the Bible. I am Ezekiel that appeared to your father. I am Ezekiel that appeared to you. And so that at that time, I was having a lot of missing time at my cabin, and I was filming because I filmed some amazing things. I've been getting other dimensions on film, and that's the first time I was able to capture the mothership on film, where it's cloaked, but I go backwards in time, and I'm able to extract it from the film footage. So, and then in the year 2000, Ezekiel came in his Merkaba vehicle, which you got to witness yourself, Tom, in my presentation. And it's magnificent because it shapeshifts, and you can actually see a chariot. So Ezekiel is he's one of my main people, but there are there's hundreds of intelligences that have been communicating through me all my life, but he's one of my primary guides.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. That, you know, it all makes sense when you hear the story about your dad. On, you know, the part about the support you got from your family, that all makes sense. I mean, if your dad had that type of an experience, of course he's going to be understanding when you come out and say you're having the same thing. So.
Yes, and my grandmother, my mother's mother, she also had gifts, and we would talk about the visions that I would have. I mean, I would tell my parents, oh, so-and-so is going to show up on our doorstep from Idaho today, and she's going to ask me to fix her hair. I mean, I think I was like in 7th grade or something. And they said, oh, they're not coming. They're not coming to see us. And 2 hours later, the doorbell rings. And there they are. And so, you know, my parents they just sort of, you know, they just kind of rode the wave with me because they never knew what to expect, but they knew that I was always pretty accurate, you know.
Yeah. So do you have brothers and sisters?
I have an older half brother, and then I have an older full-blooded brother. But when he was born, and I think he's connected, but unfortunately he's tried to put himself into mainstream, and he kind of ended up having some emotional problems, and he's not doing too well right now. But I always felt that he was just as connected as I was. But when I was born, my parents, and even, I don't know if you watched the film that I sent you, but did you notice the baby picture when you saw the aura around me, even sitting in the high chair?
I did, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
And so that was, my parents, they pretty much figured out that I was the one that Ezekiel had prepared them to raise. So.
Just for you guys out there listening, the video that we keep referring to is a video that Victoria has on her website that I would definitely urge you guys to pick this thing out. She's got, she's got on tape some absolutely amazing encounters, and some that are just like there's no other explanation. You know, most of these videos you see out there, well, you can explain it away one way or another, but she's got some stuff in there that just like, guys, I mean, you see this stuff and you just go, no, that's a UFO. That's definitely, and it's interacting with her. It's like, wow.
And with groups, you know, they come when there's groups, and and by the way, you did okay on my last name, but the J is silent, but that's okay. It's a Liljenquist.
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 Okay. And what nation? What is that? Scandinavian or?
It's Swedish.
Swedish.
Oh, okay.
So,
but it doesn't matter, you know. You can call me anything, just don't call me late for supper.
Oh, God, you know that one too. Oh, so how was school? I mean, how did you deal with going to school with your gifts?
You know, it was interesting to be so connected, because I mean, even as a kid, like, you know, I'm not in organized religion now, but I was raised going to church when I was young, and I would see beings of gold light walking back and forth behind the podium, and I just figured everybody could see that. And you know, I'd take the words out of my teacher's mouth, or anybody that was with me. I mean, it's like, you know, I would hear their next question before they asked it, and I would give them the answer. So it was kind of, it was a little tricky, and I was having a lot of visions. Like, I saw the Olympics happening in Salt Lake City when I was 13, and it took 35 years for them to actually transpire in Salt Lake, but I saw that in a vision, and so I didn't tell a lot of my friends what was going on. I ran into a friend years later, this fellow, I think we went to a junior prom together or something, and I saw him years later, and he said, you know, I saw you on television during the Olympics, and with your sighting that happened, and he said, now I know why you were so different. He said, I always knew something was different. But he liked the differentness. I mean, it wasn't a bad thing. It's just, he says, I always just felt like you were just like so wise and so connected. And so he says, now I know why, because you're just, you know, kind of wired that way. And so, you know, I got through school, and the visions kept transpiring, but both my parents passed away before I was 28. And then And then I actually had a near-death experience in 1981. So I went all the way to the other side, and so that also I think amped up the clarity of.
Once you would you mind expanding on that near-death experience? What happened there?
Yeah.
Certainly, I had surgery, and it was while I was, I guess, in recovery, and my heart just fibbed out, and I left. And what I remember is that I was in darkness, and I said, "Oh, Father, I know I live in the light. Please take me. You know, I know I'm a good person." And I saw these silhouettes of people going up into heaven in this light. And I said, "Oh, please take me." And then I was just zapped over into that light, that pillar of light. So I went through the tunnel of light, which, I mean, didn't seem so much like a tunnel as much as it was like a beam coming, you know, almost, you know, down rather than, you know, sideways. And I came through a clearing, and there the man that we call Jesus or Sananda was standing there, and by this little bridge, and he took me by the hand, and he said, "Come with me." And he took me to this big white room where there were other people standing in a circle, and they invited me to stand in the circle. And then he proceeded to tell us about all these earth changes that were coming. And this was in 1981. So he's showing us this, like this movie or this screen of the rapid procession of, you know, the hurricanes and the earthquakes and the volcanoes and the floods and on and on. And then he pointed down, and he said, "You have to go back." And so I did. I came back into my body, which was very painful. And, you know, I don't think I was gone all that long, but, you know, it seems very long when you're on the other side. And there were not a lot of people talking about near-death experiences at that time. So I kind of just kept it to myself for a while. And then, you know, I slowly shared it with a few people, and then I saw a book out by Betty Eady, and her experience was similar to mine. And then I've since spoke to other people that say, "Oh yeah, I went and I was in that room also, and I saw similar things." So that really, when you've been to the other side, you really don't sweat the small stuff. You know, no matter how rough the ride can be, and so I think that it's given me a lot of strength, especially when I share my visions that I've had, that I'm sure we'll talk about, of the second earth and the new reality. But I've never wavered my expression of what I have seen, what I know, without a doubt, shall unfold with just absolute certainty. And so I just know what I know. You know, I think it's like when you've been there, and many people will call me and they say, "Well, you probably won't believe what I'm telling you." And I said, "I will believe everything you tell me, because I have been straddling the worlds for so long." So
yeah, that's the one part about I haven't had the you know, at least what I recall as a near-death experience, but I've had the the conscious out of body experience where I've gone through, projected my consciousness out of my body through meditation, and the first time I was able to do that intentionally, when I came back, I was a completely different person as far as my doubts about all my doubts about life after death. They just completely vanished. They just were not part of my being anymore. And like you said, don't sweat the small stuff. I came to a point where, okay, I don't need to sweat the small stuff. And guess what? Everything here is small stuff.
It is. It truly is. I think that if everyone could just get inside our brains, Tom, and see the expansion of and the vision of what we've seen of a new reality, a new world, and that this is just a droplet of water in the grand scheme of things. If they could only see that, then perhaps they wouldn't be creating so much chaos.
Well, that's one thing that the way this place is set up, they're going to have to experience it themselves. And our part in this whole thing is doing just what we're doing here. You're sharing your story. I share my story.
Well, we're like a battery. We're a battery, and we hold the positive end. But in order to make energy happen, you have to have the light and the dark. I mean, it's just part of the plan.
Oh, so. Absolutely. And especially this paradigm, the way this existence is set up, it's polarized. I mean, you have positive and negative poles. So, I mean, it's required here. And I think once we get through this, I don't really want to get into the future yet. Well, we'll save that for later. But I think we have some really amazing things in store for us on good old planet Earth. So, yeah.
We do, and I think that the challenge that people have is just trying to stay in the present moment and holding that place of joy and knowing that we can change our picture of reality. We can shape shift. We can do so many things.
Yeah.
And it is the journey, but like you've mentioned, so many people came in having a tough dynamics in their family structure, and that was their test to rise above the challenge of people that try to suffocate their divine essence.
Yeah.
And of course, we move above and beyond that, and I believe that we all have tests,
Oh, yeah. A lot of people I see come in that are going through the quote-unquote wake-up process. I see some absolutely amazing people. I mean, the lights that are shining in them are phenomenal. And when I start talking to these people and hearing their stories, I'm finding there's a huge, huge amount of these people who have gone through some tremendous challenges in their lives. The trauma that they've gone through to get where they're at, and it goes to that point of where tremendous challenges or tremendous contrast is, tremendous light can be had. It's almost like the harder your challenge, if you come through it, man, you are going to be awesome.
Exactly. I think I really celebrate every time I go through a rough one, and of course I had 8 surgeries in 7 years. So I'm fine now, but the thing is, every time I I had to go through that. I grew, to another level of awareness and, or whatever it is, whether it's losing loved ones or, going through, relationships or,
right.
any kind of loss. And I say to my family, well, I'm just the willow in the wind. I bend with the wind, and sometimes it looks like I might break off, but I bounce back.
There you go. So let's dive into some of the earlier messages that you received that have already played out on the world stage. Just share we know about the Olympics in Salt Lake, which that one was phenomenal. Would you share some of the other ones that you've had out there? Some of the other things that you've seen that have played out?
Well, I saw a second Earth in 3 visions, and I thought it was interesting because 10 years after I saw that, the scientists said, "Oh, we've discovered we've seen like a second Earth out there," and then they continue to, throw things out over the years, or even just the last months of this year. We think, that could be like Earth, and oh gosh, I mean, I have so many things that I have been shown have come true. I can't even, this show wouldn't be long enough. But what I will share, it's interesting. With the Brotherhood, I like to take groups out, and sometimes I will even producers that came from LA to interview me for a show that they did, and we planned it a month in advance, and I checked in with the Brotherhood, and I got, well, okay, December 10th, that's it. So they drove over from LA, and I took them to Sedona, and I told them exactly what would happen, that we would have as many as 15 what you would call shooting stars. I call them flares, to lead up to let us know that a bigger ship would be coming through, and they even got moldavite, which many people know this, but it's a meteorite that fell over Czechoslovakia 35 million years ago. It was part of the Holy Grail, and it was a precious stone that the royalty gave to each other, and so they had their moldavite on, and as I was telling them what was coming, they go, "Oh, our hair is standing on end. We're really feeling this." And then we had the 15 shooting stars came, and I said, "Now watch the direction that they're coming, because that tells you that the bigger ship is gonna come from that direction." So they were all ready, and they got it. Here it came, just exactly the way I told them it would be. And same thing happened with 17 people that followed me clear across Phoenix on a rainy night. We planned it months in advance. After a lecture, we caravanned and got up there on the mountain and started to tone, and the sky cleared, and that's when you see that glow. It looks like a Goodyear blimp that comes through on film, and a girl goes, "Oh, do you think it has a toilet on it?" Because it's so huge. And I said, "Yeah, there's enough room for all of us," but these are, these aren't even necessarily visions as much as it's just the clarity that I get from my transmissions. And a lot of times I will just tell the Brotherhood, "Look, you need to show up on such and such day." I just don't go sit on a mountain and wait for them to come. I initiate it. And what I've realized, Tom and Ramon, is that I feel like I'm actually orchestrating it from both places. Like maybe I'm on the ship and I'm on the ground orchestrating filming the ship. And because it's happened over and over. And there is one really exciting thing that happened. I saw in a vision when I was up on the mountain in Arizona, I received message that there would be a big ship would come over Phoenix on March 17th, and this was in 1997. And I went to the lab that was testing all my film footage, and and I announced it at an event I put on in February, and I said, mark my words, there's going to be a great big sighting. Well, I was back in Alabama visiting somebody, and I went into this vision, and I was on this huge ship with about 10 races of beings, and I was standing at a podium speaking to them. And I took all my notes down, and that was on March 13th, and I thought, well, I've got to get back to Phoenix because the ship's coming on the 17th. When I got back to Phoenix, they said, well, of all times for you to be gone, Victoria, we had the Phoenix Lights. I mean, that huge encounter. It came on March 13th.
Wow.
And I said, well, I was on the thing because I was on the ship with these 10 races of beings at the same time that sighting was flying over the state of Arizona. And so I wasn't supposed to be in Phoenix filming it because I was actually on it.
It's funny that you mentioned being in two places at once, because several of the shows we've had on recently, we've talked about things right along those lines. There's something about our nature that whole idea rings so true of us living multiple lives at the same time, being in multiple places at the same time. Whereas what I perceive as Tom here right now is just one small aspect of who I really am. This is a part of me.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes you, in one day, you will feel like you're split. I mean, you really are experiencing two realities simultaneously, and one particular thing happens when I feel that, and maybe you can relate to this, but let's say that you're in your house and you're getting ready to go somewhere, and you put something down. You lay your cell phone down. You walk in the other room, and you come back, and by golly, that cell phone is not there. You walk all over the house. You're pulling your hair out. You're just, you're frantic because it's really important. You don't have time to be fooling around with this kind of chaos.
Right.
And finally, like, a half hour later, you come back, and there it is. It's sitting right there. And that, what Spirit and the guides and the masters and the Brotherhood have told me about this is that that's a prime example of you changed realities. And so that cell phone was matter. It was, it was a hardcore matter thing, and you were going back and forth, and that's why. And this happens a lot. Like when I'm getting ready to, get on a plane or anything, I'm packing. This will happen to me, and I can't find what I know I laid down, and I'm just going, okay, you guys, stop playing with me. But it really, it does, it happens with all of us. And it also happens when we are, like, we go to sleep at night, but we wake up in the morning and we feel like we have not had any sleep.
Right.
We're totally exhausted because we've been going back and forth.
Right.
All night long.
Yeah, that definitely is something that I've experienced quite a few times, and
Yeah.
On a pretty regular basis, as a matter of fact. I'll get up in the morning and it's like, wow, did I sleep? You know?
Yeah, it actually, one time it actually cost me my job because I was going to sleep early because I know I need like this extended amount of sleep, and I was going to sleep like maybe at the latest by 11, but I would wake up by 9 like I never slept, and even to the point where I would oversleep. I have to be at work at 11, and I would wake up 10:45 or something like that. Even though I went to sleep early enough, it felt like I just went to sleep an hour ago.
Pretty
amazing.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We're so busy. We're so busy doing things in our nightscapes, and a lot of people will say, "Well, Victoria, why can't I remember what I was doing?" And I say, "Well, you will remember because you'll just go into autopilot at the appropriate time for whatever you were shown in that nightscape, in that orientation room on the ship or wherever you were. You don't fret about it because you'll remember when you need it, because it's all stored in our subconscious mind," which kind of goes along with people seeing geometric symbols when they're laying in bed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys
Ramon does
have that happen.
Yeah.
But, Dr. Hurtak, J.J. Hurtak's book, Keys of Enoch, he talks about the sacred language of light, which is one of the things that I have on film from my Cherry of Ezekiel. But he speaks of this in the keys and how these ideographic images are downloaded to us in our sleep state, and then when we get to a certain place of our evolution, then we will be able to experience them in our waking state, which is what I've tried to provide to people through the film footage, because they're able to see some of these things that remind them a little bit about what they see at night.
Right. So earlier you mentioned the Brotherhood as some of the contacts that you have. Would you explain to us who the Brotherhood is?
Well, the Great White Brotherhood, they are a group of beings who are working expeditiously to help us prepare for our next planetary station. So they communicate through clairaudience to many people. I mean, many people are receiving transmissions. And so, like when I'm orchestrating contact, then I will solicit them, and I'll say, okay, we call forth upon the powers of the universe, and we ask the Brotherhood of Light to engage with us in this encounter. And some people might relate them a little bit to the Ashtar command. A lot of people have different words for similar groups, Galactic Federation. But when I started filming my encounters in 1994, and people thought I was crazy, but it was before digital came in. It didn't exist, and so I was spending a fortune on my 35mm film, using 400 film on zoom lens. And I started getting other dimensions on film. And that's when I found the Keys of Enoch, which I loved the book just because my photographs were the physical manifestation of many of the things that it spoke of in there. And one of those items was the Brotherhood of Light, the Great White Brotherhood, which have appeared in this blue-white energy to me as I'm laying on top of the mountain of Lake Powell, and that's in the movie that you see towards the end. That wonderful blue-white energy is just incredible cobalt blue. But you know, that's the way they correlate their communication with me. I don't really, get communication from Ashtar, although I honor Ashtar and the groups. Everyone has their assignments. So, I have my colleagues, and but then I also get a lot of transmissions from Saint Germain and from Sananda, or Jesus, and El Moria, Kasumi, Babaji. Transmissions will come through almost word for word from Babaji, and I'll share it, and someone says, "Have you read that book, Babaji Speaks?" And I go, "I've never seen it." But yet, word for word, I've just related a whole paragraph of the book. So,
you gotta love those confirmations like that.
Yeah.
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 There's many people, including myself, where I'll receive something, but it comes in garble. And I remember one time I was telling whoever I was speaking to, and it's always in that hypnagogic state, and it comes in, and I'm like, "Please speak louder," and he was like, "It doesn't matter how loud I speak," and I was like, "Oh."
Oh, you understood. It was garble, and then they said clearly, it doesn't matter how loud they speak.
Yeah, it's obviously on my end, So that's what I understood automatically. But many times it's been clearing up more and more, but it's not completely clear where I can have a full dialogue. Like I'll get short phrases or short words, and the worst part is that because it's in a hypnagogic state, when I'm coming out of it, it starts fading away. It's like, wait, I don't remember what you said.
Have you ever taken a tape recorder to bed, and when you're still in that, that dream state, maybe you're receiving information or visions, and before you've come back to consciousness, you can just reach over and just click the button and just start relating as much as you can remember. And the other thing is, perhaps if it seems garbled, just go to a computer keyboard and close your eyes and just ask them to transmit through automatic writing and transcribing what they're trying to say. So, I've done both of those things, and that's really helpful to me.
Yeah, I think the second one I can do. The first one might get me in trouble, but because my wife is next to me, so.
Oh.
Yeah. She's very sweet, but not when she's sleeping.
So we've just about burned up this first hour already. That went really quick, and I'd like to this next hour. I want to definitely dig into what you've seen for our future, and the two Earths and all that stuff. That stuff is just absolutely fascinating. And before we head out of here for the first hour, I would like to get you to tell people where they can pick up your your DVD, and let's see, what else do you offer through your site? You do sessions, and let's see, what else? Are you doing any workshops or anything like that? I hadn't looked for that.
Well, right now, I'm not doing any workshops at the moment. I'll be probably setting up a new schedule here in the fall, but I've been involved in opening up another healing center, and I've been traveling a lot, so I've just, but people can come to the site, victoriouslight.com, and if they want to watch any of the video links on there, they can learn a lot about me. I have quite a few YouTube videos on there. And they can also go to the store if they are interested in purchasing Encounters with Angels, UFOs, and Divine Messages, which it was kind of amazing because it actually won in Hollywood and New York, and at the film festivals, and it wasn't really created to go to a film festival, but it was just one of those divine things. And then there's a second DVD, which is the Merkaba Diamond ships, and has the mothership, and they are my encounters when I lived in Colorado. And I have 2 healing CDs, Journey to Empowerment, Self-Healing and Inner Peace, which I channeled all the music, and the guided journey that takes people into an altered state to heal and love and forgive and be empowered and create a new picture of reality, as well as the Sacred Tone CD, which is all my voice. There's no instrument. It's just strictly my voice, singing tones, and they represent the tones of Abraham. I was commissioned to do that for some people that took it to Scotland, to Glastonbury, and did a special ceremony around Mother Mary. And then I do offer consultation by telephone, and they can go to my website and read about healing sessions. So.
Well, very cool. Very cool. Well, and I would strongly urge you guys to pick up that DVD. It is there's some phenomenal stuff on there. So it's got a 5 gold stars from Tom. So. All right. Well, we will be coming back and dig into some more of Victoria's Light, and right after we take a short break. So, also urge you guys, if you're listening on one of the other medias besides through our website is www.the100thmonkeyradio.com, and if you are not a member yet, we would greatly appreciate you guys clicking on that join button and helping to support Ramon and I and all that we're doing with the radio show. Condemnation without investigation is the heights of ignorance.
The love you deny is the pain you carry.
And we'll see you guys after the break.
We wish to see in the world. Freedom's calling, I feel the fire that's deep inside us. Everybody wants change, but tell me who will guide us. To the leaders that passed away, put up your lighters. It's a beautiful struggle, but it cannot divide us. We're the ones that we've always been waiting for. See yourself in the mirror and open up the door. Walk through it and feel the love throughout your pores. Be the light, life's purpose is to feel joy. Metaphysical, lyrical, standing up for truth. The only one that makes change is walking in your shoes. Be the example, don't complain about the news. Making music and serving the world with the loo. Now you can be the same, or you can be the change. Thought strength from inside, break through the chains. No one to blame, nothing to prove. You create your reality, it's up to you. Be the change that you wanna see in the world. Like God, we live for peace. Aspire to be. So I'm gonna fight for the beliefs like Martin Luther King. Aspire to be that love, that light, like Christ. Live life for the moment in need. And if you believe in Jehovah, Allah, Buddha, Christian, love to me. My soul yearns for peace in a world that's flooded with war. History's littered with body scar, trying to settle the score to maintain an archaic platform of power and greed. People fight for land out of survival and need. So I'm killing my television and I'm planting the seed to fill my head with knowledge that I'm seeing receive. Due to the media propaganda, killing my creed. Or what don't kill me, make me stronger, feeling straight when I bleed.
fighting for interest before catastrophe. They try to sell you anything in this world, nothing for free. Land, air, fire, and water, they keep up in the ante, while the anti-proletariat hold the powers to be. But we keep fighting, surviving, and thriving, recycling and rhyming. We constantly inclining, we see through the lying and prying. They we keep trying to keep you from asking the why and the change that you want to see in the world. Like Gandhi live for peace, aspire to be someone who fights for the beliefs. Like Martin Luther King, aspire to be that love, that light, like Christ, live life for the moment in need. And if you believe in Jehovah, Allah, Buddha, Christian, love to me. We find solutions, different possibilities, creating organizations like Aspire to Be, inspiring young minds to see, building life skills, nurturing creativity, fulfilling the youth's basic needs, listening actively, teaching the tools to succeed, positive role models we plant to see, the roots bring the water which feeds the trees, someone help me, giving back to my responsibility, be the change that you want to see in the world.